Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, happy bedtime, whatever it is, wherever you are. If you are tuning in to watch Racing for James complete or undertake day 3 of Laps for Leuko, we have done 2 days so far because it's day 3. Pretty good at maths, I am. It's amazing. We're counting laps, we're counting kilometres, and we're counting days. 134 laps. We did 33 on day 1 at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. We did 101 laps yesterday at Charlotte Roval in preparation for a 3-hour race we've got coming up on Saturday evening, I believe it is. Tonight we have a league race, so I am planning to put in my standard Tuesday and Thursday league races because I think I want to keep touch with the league guys, keep touch with the championship that we've got running there as well. And I just think that it will make much better content than me cruising around in an Aston Martin for 30 days, however many hours I end up doing. So it might be a bit of fun. Plus, the IR18, I'm not very good at. So it might create really good content. It might see me crashing a lot and being in the pits for hours on end as well. So it's going to be fun either way. We we have a pretty infamous crash in our YouTube shorts if you have a minute to go back and have a look at that, where I managed to make it about not even to the start line of an oval race. The guys gave me a heap of grief over it because it was hilarious. You have to laugh at that sort of stuff because if you don't, you will never get into an IndyCar again. But since then, we've actually had some amazing races in the IR18. I'm actually really coming to grips with the car a little bit. Like I'm not great at driving it. I'm I'll actually wind that back a step. I'm not great at transitioning from car to car. I've spent the last week, I think, in the Aston Martin. So coming over to this car that's got downforce that needs higher mid-corner speeds, etc. It does trick my brain a little bit, and I'm not great at adapting to it, which is why I tend to have crashes throughout these races. We've got 27 minutes until the league session starts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start doing laps for Leuko because the whole idea of this is running laps. So I'm jumping into a practice session now. It is a solo practice session just to get a few laps underway. I'll set my timer. Excuse me, timer, can you let me know when it's 7 o'clock? So my timer's set to let me know when it's 7 o'clock to jump over to the Missed Apex Racing League session. And here we are in the Revy IR18. Let's run a lap of Long Beach and see what we've got in store tonight. It's a track I've spent a little bit of time at. It is Lord Volt's favourite track. So we have the extra pressure of the Long Beach Extraordinaire. See what I mean? We made it out of the pit lane. Now, don't crash into the walls. I did notice that my force feedback is super low, so we'll do what we do every time we get into the car and adjust the force feedback. It's only a 6, yeah, that's not ideal. And the good thing is we can do some quiet laps and learn the track a little bit. Learn where the off tracks are before we get into the actual race session. I am going to battle the guys in the race. I'm not going to treat this like any other race day. I will obviously leave space and try not to wreck ourselves because I'm not here to make you guys watch me sitting in pits for long periods of time. That's not even fun for me. It'd be even worse for you guys listening to me talk and just sitting there watching my car getting fixed for however long the meatball ends up being. But rest assured, if there's going to be a meatball, it's going to be tonight. Do you know, I say that now, it'll be the best base I've ever had, and we'll end up beating Lord Volt. That's my goal. Let's make that a goal. What we'll do is we'll take, what's Sven's motto? Sven the Oval King is spins or wins. So, where are we going with spins or wins, guys? Tonight, sheep stations. I have, as I said, I've come to terms a bit with the IndyCar, and although this isn't my favourite track, after doing a session in the LMP2, I believe Lord Volt and I did. It sort of grew on me a little bit because it is quite a technical track as we light up the tyres. And as long as you spin there, the track's wide enough. If you spin in the section we just went through though, the track's not wide enough and you absolutely will hit the wall. But that's the benefit of jumping in and doing this session, so I can get used to the throttle inputs, rolling on the throttle, rolling around the car, rolling around the corners. And hopefully it's a clean battle. We have forgotten our Leukodystrophy Australia livery. I actually don't have one for this car, and I didn't actually take the opportunity to slap one together, so I do apologise. Before next Tuesday I will ensure that I get a livery up and running. Currently we're running a Jumbo's Chop Shop Missed Apex Racing League in green, which is my favourite colour. We will switch to our traditional white. We've got all the colour codes in Trading Paints for that particular white now, so I can replicate that and throw the logos on there. Not that you guys actually get to see the outside of the car, but it is there, it does exist, and you'll see the white in my mirrors when I change it, and we might see if we can sneak a Racing for James logos. Oh, you can't even see the mirrors. I'm tricking you guys. The mirrors are on the left and right screen, so you can't see that either. It'd be for my viewing pleasure only. So the IndyCars, I think, have already run at Long Beach this year. Don't expect to see the pace or anything that we saw in the actual real life race, or the skill level for that matter, but you never know. As long as all the guys proceed with caution through the concrete jungle, there's no reason it can't be a good, clean battle. And we've got the benefit of triple screen, so getting through that hairpin, you'll see me looking left and right as we go through those corners. Trying to negotiate that with a single screen is difficult at best because you can't see the apex. So that's where triple screens really have that advantage, or an ultra wide. I would assume you get that with as well. So, but as I said yesterday, the triple screens were James's idea. He really wanted them, and I did try very hard to tell my wife, look, we don't need them. James is just pulling your leg, but she caved and bought them for James. So now I'm stuck with them as well, which is not fair on me. I'm trying to enjoy my gaming, and I'm having this stuff sort of thrust upon me. But what do? You got to do what the kids want. So here we are, and like I said, it's as much as I really detest the idea of having triples, and it was a pressured sale. I'll be able to sit back after this race and go, do you know what, wife? It helped me get through Long Beach without crashing. So what I'll do is I'll crash, just to really make sure that cements the idea that I didn't need triples. I can hear James laughing at me in the background. He might be getting encouraged by my wife to laugh at me, and I'd do the same if she was trying to sell a story like that to strangers on the internet. So the truth of the matter is I actually accidentally bought the triples because I found a bargain on Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes you get a bargain, and then I had to wait patiently and set them up after Christmas because they had a big family gathering here. I got them up and running in January this year, I think it was, and I've never looked back. It's really cool having that set up in your living room, and people like it when they come over, and as I said, James loves it as well. I have had the wife in the sim rig. I think she tells me she doesn't enjoy it as much as she does, but she needs a bit more practice, so maybe we'll get her doing some laps and she can practice as well. But after tonight watching me crash, you'll probably get bored watching her crash as well, so it might not subject you to that sort of torture. Well, this is surprisingly, and this is going to be the detriment of my evening, surprisingly not bad. Feeling a bit more comfortable in the car now. It's taken how many laps? I don't even know how many laps. I don't know how long Long Beach is either. I have told you guys at the start of every episode how long each track is. but we will endeavour to figure out that information very, very soon. I don't know how hard to push through these corners. I'm in preservation mode. I really don't want to crash, and this stream is going to help me be a better driver through concentration. You have seen me do a lot of spins, and you've seen me crash at Nürburgring, but I'm trying not to make a habit. Maybe I'll put up one of those signs, how many days since a major incident, and we'll have a counter of that as well. So far it's been 1.5 days since a major incident. And if we have a crash tonight, we'll find somebody else to blame, even if it's my fault and nobody's near me. Who we get it? I think we'll blame Lord Volt, because he should know better than to leave me alone on this track without supervision. You're getting faster. Oh, you can push those brakes a little bit there. I mentioned at the start of this, I really struggle with coming to terms with the way to drive these cars, because of the way you drive a heavy GT4 car. But I'm okay with the transition. I'm just not super competitive in these cars, mostly. But like I just said 5 minutes ago, maybe it will be a good thing doing this on the stream and forcing me to pay attention to my inputs and underdrive the car a little bit more. Because the last thing we need to do is keep crashing, making a fool of myself. I can do that by just talking. So I had a chat with Leukodystrophy Australia yesterday. I think I mentioned it in my stream. I was actually really humbled to hear that Anne, so Anne from Leukodystrophy Australia, she had made contact with a couple of donors. So thank you to everyone that's donated so far. I was having a chat with Jumbo. You would have heard the conversation last night. I actually don't know how much has been donated, and I'm not sure I'll put a tally up there. I don't have any particular aspirations for a goal. Sure, I'd love to raise as much as I possibly can, but I'm just starting a YouTube channel as well. I'm on my 3rd ever live stream. I've got maybe 9 videos posted online, so I'm not expecting a huge influx of donations, but we would always love for you guys to help us along, and the best way to help this channel along is a contribution to Leukodystrophy Australia. That's the sole reason I'm in this project with Racing for James, is to raise money for charity. I'm not here for myself or for any particular reason to grow the channel for my own reasons. It is something I want to do to help the community, and I'll find ways to do that as we grow this thing, if it does grow over time. Time will obviously tell. You never know, when you're streaming online, you might make some magic content that makes the YouTube algorithm think you're the best person since sliced bread. Not that sliced bread's a person, but we could probably change that statement to the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm quite a fan of sliced bread, so maybe if I eat more, I'll become what I eat and better than sliced bread. I'm getting laughed at in the background here, so somebody needs to stick up for me in the comments. I think my wife's secretly happy that I'm doing this and having these chats to you guys on the internet, so she doesn't have to listen to me dribble like that, because that's pretty much what happens in my house. It's quite an imagination we've got. We have a good outlook on life, don't get me wrong, but we don't take it very seriously most of the time, because why would ya? Why would ya? We're doing 1 minute 12 lap times, so last night we were doing 1 minute 30 lap times. Getting faster, getting faster. The problem, okay, so the problem we've got now though, is that everyone is going to see that I'm in a practice session, and they will pay me out for getting sweaty. Because anyone that practices for elite grades gets taunted and teased. But I'm going to ask for a pass for this month, and and then I'll get back to my normal ways of no practicing. It is good to practice. It is a good thing because the other guys are here wanting to have fun and learn to battle as well. They will all be getting into the chat. I'll do what I do every stream. I will jump into the Discord side of things and put them on push to talk, and I will subject you guys to the Discord chat at some stage once I'm confident they'll be on their best behaviour. Maybe we'll need some of you to join and become members of Marl to give us a grown-up figure and give us a reason to behave. But it is a place to let our hair down and have a little bit of a laugh. It really is. And some of the nights you get off the sim rig with a sore belly from actually laughing the whole time, or even some of the 24-hour races or 6-hour races we've done. It can be quite an adventure where the chat goes and some of the things we talk about. So sometimes it's pretty light-hearted, sometimes it's a bit more serious. So tonight's layout is a 30-minute practice session, which we will jump over to at 7 PM my time. There is then the standard iRacing 2 laps of qualifying, so an out lap plus 2 race laps. Then, to the best of my knowledge, there is an 8-lap sprint race, which will be run on the same tyres that you qualify on. So most people will be smart enough to run those on the super soft tyres. After that, there is a 15-minute break, which we will keep running laps in. And then there is a 25-lap race, I believe it is, which requires the use of both tyre types. So you start on either softs or hards, and then you swap to the other tyre type at the conclusion of that race. We also need to refuel. We have a limited fuel tank in this car for the league races, so it gives a bit of a simulation of a race weekend, all condensed down into about an hour and a half of driving. Maybe 2, but we generally finish about 9 o'clock, so my goal is to make this again a 2.5 hour stream. Do as many laps as we can in that 2.5 hours. Then we will regroup and think about what we're going to do tomorrow night. I'll get all these streams set up for that, and I'm not sure what I'll drive yet. If anyone is watching, let me know if you want to see me drive the Aston Martin again, or whether we tempt fate and do a bit of driving in the V8 supercar. Or we could take on some of iRacing's week 13 content. So I believe the update won't be until Thursday morning my time. Maybe it'll be tomorrow. The update won't come through, so we'll see what happens. It is week 13 on iRacing though, so the content is definitely there. And there is a series of fun unranked races. We'll see. I know James has been bugging me to get in the sim, so maybe we'll see if we can get him in to do a couple of oval laps, and we might try and see what sort of oval content there is. Get him on the big steering wheel. I will have to adjust the audio profile for that, because I'll have to run it through my monitor so I can hear what's going on. And during that stream, when I get James in the car, I probably won't be in a position to talk a lot, because I actually sit him on my lap, we give him the steering wheel, and I do the pedals. And he has an absolute blast. His favourite game is BeamNG. He just said NG in the background. His favourite game is BeamNG. He loves driving around, and he's a pretty sensible driver. He gets a bit off track. He does get to a point where he's had enough and likes to just crash into absolutely everything, which is hilarious. But most of the time he'll actually drive around, and he likes to go slow and just follow cars, so there's a potential that he's going to be a stalker when he grows up. But it's kind of cool to watch him do that, and although he's non-verbal, there's some signs there that he knows exactly what he's doing out on those streets, and I'm pretty confident that he's got a bit of a creative mind going on there, and he knows, is he pretending to be a police car, is he pretending to just follow people? I'm not exactly sure, but I know that he knows what he's doing, and it's fun to watch that unfold. So we'll see whether he can bring that skill level to an oval race in week 13 on iRacing. I think it'd be safe to say he won't be the worst driver on track. So 13 laps already. I wish I knew how long this track was. Long Beach, we'll have a look in a few minutes. We will, we've got 9 minutes until we jump over to the Missed Apex Racing League server. I will we'll record how many laps I've done, and I'll update the total on the bottom left of your screen there, so we'll see the lap numbers increase. With a fast car at a small track, the lap numbers will bump up compared to the kilometres driven. The kilometres driven is quite high because of the Nürburgring Nordschleife we did on Sunday, which was the start of Leukodystrophy Awareness Month. It was a ripper way to kick this off. Although I spent 5.5 hours in the simulator, it was a pretty quick day in reality, and I think again because I was talking, it really made the day go quite fast. So happy to try and replicate that and do another long stream or two, or 3 or 4. And I certainly know that a few of the boys from Missed Apex Racing League really do want to get involved in this project. So I am going to start conversations about a big collaborative effort for the end of September. I would like to see if I can run a 24-hour plus stream and see if I can get guys driving different cars in, so I don't have to drive for that long, obviously, because that'd just be silly and probably impossible. But if I can get guys to pick a category they want to do drive, we'll set up a Leukodystrophy Australia livery for them, and I will jump in and spot those races, and in between events, or if there's nobody else on, I'll just run laps or do races myself. It'll give me a bit of a break and time out of the sim over that 24-hour period. But we will count all those laps because I'll be there with those guys making this thing happen. So it's really humbling to know that those boys that are strangers on the internet want to get involved and help this project. They've never met James. They've heard him carrying on in the background, and for some reason, like me, they do like him. So it's pretty cool to have that support of a bunch of strangers, and know that it's a safe place to talk about it with those guys as well. Especially as this month goes on, I've got no doubt it's going to get quite tiring. I'm going to run out of fuel. 9 laps. Plenty of fuel, Travie, don't worry. I'm not sure if many people tuned in to watch this part of the stream, so if none of the Missed Apex Racing League guys watch, I'll be able to tell them that it's terrible out there and all I did was crash. And then maybe with all this extra practice I've got, we'll scream away out front and nobody will be able to catch us. I can categorically say though, this track is fun in this car. Whether I'm driving it right or not, whether I'm on pace or not, I don't know. Qualifying and practice will soon tell me that. But it's really not difficult to drive. I think because it's such a nimble little car, I really just think that it can be thrown around and it grips up when it needs to. Whereas driving the sorry, I'll start this sentence after I get through a technical part. Driving the GT cars around here is quite difficult because of the body roll and the amount of movement in the cars, so they do like to sort of bounce around a bit with the weight shift, so maybe it is more suited to this sort of high downforce car. I know the LMP2, we had a... Oh, we didn't have success because I crashed. That's right, I did. I crashed, and it was an unfortunate part of netcode. So, Lord Volt and I were in a 6-hour race here. We'd planned for me to do 2 hours and Volt to do 4 hours because this is his favourite track. And what happened? So we're still fairly frustrated with this in Australia because a lot of the player base is based in faster again. Because a lot of the player base is based in Europe and America, for example, the servers we have access to are from that portion of the world. So we get latency and all of that fun internet stuff that I really understand enough to know that it makes the experience frustrating at times, but don't understand enough to know how to improve. But effectively, what happens is we get more of the effects of netcode. Now, in that particular LMP2 race, I come around this particular corner and I lost the back end of the car on one of the white lines and I hit the wall on the left-hand side there. Now, the reason that detail is important is, and the netcode part of that story is important, is because what happened after that was the duration of my meatball. Now, don't quote me exactly on the times, but I remember getting I believe it was a 16-minute meatball. So we had to spend 16 minutes repairing the car. Now, there were crashes and pile-ups throughout that entire race, some seemingly worse than ours. Crashes in the hairpin, crashes at turn 1 down here. So I'll show you before I go through. So you come down to turn 1 here and people will misjudge this braking zone through this section here and then go straight into the wall straight in front of us there. Obviously a hell of a lot higher speed than me getting on the throttle a little bit early and hitting a wall. But as I said, we got a 16-minute meatball for our efforts, and not one other car or not one other crash for any competitor in the entire race got any longer than I think it was a 6 or an 8-minute meatball. So we got double or just over double the time for a crash that wasn't as severe as some of the other ones on the same day. It ruined our race, obviously, because if we got a standard meatball, like everybody else, we would have still been battling for positions, but we went double the amount of laps down. So again, it's something that is a bit of a pain point from time to time, and it's something that we do accept is out of our control. But it is one of the difficulties living in Australia and playing a global based video game. So if you do want to take it up from Australia, ignore everything I said and just understand that it's the best game out there. And then when that happens to you, remember that I said that, and sometimes you'll hate yourself for playing it as well. So we are going to get ready to switch over to the race server. As I said, I will jump into... Oh, James is goodbying you all. We're not saying goodbye, Jamesy. We're going to hang around with these people for another couple of hours. There's my alarm clock going off in the background. I think James was saying goodbye because he's going to goodbye this portion of the video for us. He's goodbying everyone, so I'll finish this lap because we don't want to waste an opportunity to do another few kilometres. I will jump out of the car. I'll have a look at... Thanks, Jeff. I'll have a look at how long this track is, and then we'll add some laps to our tally, hey? To get my trusty calculator out, the numbers are getting too big. Oh, 21 laps. There you go, racing for James' number, 21. We'll add another 21 laps to our tally. Alrighty, I will jump out of here. So we've got 21 laps. We've got down to a 10.7. Pretty happy with that, to be honest. Pretty happy. Just that we had 2 spins. One on the very first corner. 2 spins I'm not disappointed with. The track is 3.06 kilometers long. Let's add some numbers to some numbers. So we've done 134 already, and we've done 21 laps, had we not? So let's get the trusty calculator out. Not to add up the laps I've done, but to add up the kilometers I've done. Because that would be embarrassing if I couldn't add 134 to 21, wouldn't it? It really would be. We need 21 times 3. There is 6. So we've just done another 64.26 kilometers. So we're going to change the laps on this one here to 155 laps. 155. Now, hopefully I don't press a button that stops streaming here. And then we're going to add 64, oops, equals plus 1176. 76.83. So 1,241.9 kilometers. 1241.09. There we go. And we did trigger the recording in I have to adjust that. I've got the OBS software on my keypad, and every time I enter numbers on there, it starts recording and does all weird and wonderful things. So I'll get in there and delete that clip that I saved of absolutely nothing. We'll quit out of our practice session here. I'll rehydrate myself. And I will just pop into the Missed Apex Racing League chat and say hi to those fine young specimens. All right, the server's up. There's already 5 people in there. I don't know how many laps everyone's done, but we'll claim that we've already done 21 laps. So I did check the practice session is half hour, 8-minute quali, 8 lap sprint race, and then a 30 lap feature race. So we will do a few more laps than we just did, but that's cool. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I'll just wait for the conversation to stop, and then I will say hi to these gentlemen. Good evening, happy Tuesday, lads. I'm doing all right. Very, very well. I was getting sweaty at Long Beach. I'll have you know, sweaty as. Yes, I do. If your lap time's 1 minute, you've gone way too fast. If your lap time's 5 minutes, you probably crashed into something. I was doing my best was a 10.7 just in that session, but I wasn't really pushing it. I was just learning the track to make sure I don't make a fool of myself on YouTube in about now. I'm not exactly sure. I definitely had tyres on though. I don't know which ones they were. Yeah, it must have been on alternate because that's what I was on. So there you go. So I just realised that I was on the really grippy, grippy, not slippy tyres. So we're going to go out on the primary tyres, which are meant to be the slippery ones now. We've got 26 minutes left to run some laps. We'll see how many we can get in. There is traffic on the track now, so it's going to get a little bit tricky. But as I said, we are going to run laps no matter what for the remainder of this session. We've got the lap counter down the bottom left, so you guys can hold me accountable. And I've got to remember that these tyres aren't as grippy.
You've got a toy car on the right.
There's Mr. Punt Road Ferrell. So this is the same setup we were just running from what I understand. That helps a great deal because now I've got an idea on how it's going to react, but what I have to notice is the difference in the tyres. So the tyres will take a little bit longer to warm up because they're just not as grippy. But we have to do a good session on the primary tyres in the race. Now, we do have the advantage though that I know that the fuel got me through 21 laps on the alternative tyres. So we might be able to run, and Jeff said, I think he said we had 5 laps to go at the end of that as across the line. I think he said we had 5 laps, maybe 4 laps to go, so 21, so we'll get 25 laps and it's a 30 lap race. We'll only have to do 5 laps on the alternative tyres. Now that's going to be interesting. Now, maybe we'll do that. So I don't know if anyone from Marl is watching this stream. If you are watching it, the alternative tyres, they're only good for 2 laps, guys. After 2 laps they wore out. Somebody's parked sideways there. We got Jet. There he is. So yeah, anyone from Marl watching 2 laps on the alternative tyres. Then you have. Yeah, and then you got to remember your tyres get superheated from it too, eh? It's a bit of a double-edged sword, that. Jet was just saying that he's got to, like when you spin like we did in our practice session, if you don't hit the wall, you've got to do a bit of a flick turn. And as you know, as you saw, it warms up your tyres and creates a little bit of a slippery scenario. What lap times? They're doing 12s. We can get into the 10s. Now, there are a few new guys here, which is really cool. We are we're always looking to grow the league at Missed Apex Racing League. It's always good to get more cars. Don't get me wrong, they're the same. So the 8 guys that we drive with are an amazing bunch because you get to know each other. But it's good to see some new faces to really give us a reason to push and drive clean. And the good thing is they're all in the chat. Everyone's in my ears having a good chat. Even the new guys are getting involved. It's really cool. Really, really cool.
Car 800 each gate.
Oh, there's the
10.901.
There you go, take that, Michael. Now we're back to this old chestnut, Michael. So this track's actually a little bit more evolved than the one I was just driving on in the practice session. I think the best I got to in that, and that was on the alternative tyres, was a 10.7. So interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what the lap times on the alternative tyres end up being. But I really don't want to overdrive the car, guys. I really want to get through this clean. Hopefully we can have a clean race as well. It'll be wild to watch a bit of a battle and some really good quality racing. I know I spent the vast majority of the Nürburgring race driving on my own, and I spent a lot of time, spent a lot of time last night driving on my own as well. I hadn't actually set a topic for tonight's chat. I mentioned a fair bit last night that I'm not going to have things to talk about every night. A part of this is just literally being ourselves. We are going to talk about... Hey! That's good old Jamlin. There you go. Putting it to the top of the tables. So I was saying that I'm not going to have a topic to talk about every single night. A part of Laps for Leuko is me being me as well, and that's why I wanted to ensure I kept these league nights in, because it's a reflection of what we do with this game as well. And maybe there would have been more.
61. Just set the fastest lap. 10.0.
Maybe there would have been more of a reason just to do it running just the Aston Martin, and maybe only counting the laps from the Aston Martin. But this is the very first laps for Leuko, so
Right side, clear on the right. You got a slow car on the left. Go right.
it is the very first laps for Leuko. So the idea is to really get myself a bit more comfortable on the camera, get the streams running smoothly, get the support built up as well. Like the big thing with the YouTube channel is that it only works if you get people watching it.
Car 10, just set the fastest lap. 9.336.
The big thing is though that I'm not really setting myself any goals for subscribers or any, as I mentioned before, any fundraising expectations. I really genuinely want to just see how this grows, and we will advertise the channel, and I do have it on Facebook and have the other Missed Apex Racing League guys streaming with Racing for James logos and the donation link in their chats as well. But I also recognise that competing for donations for charities is a big thing. There's a lot of charities competing for everyone's dollar, and I want to ensure that the dollars that I contribute through my productions and my time behind the screen is reflective of me. I don't want to become somebody I'm not just for the sake of trying to raise extra money. I don't want to do that. It's not what I ever intended this project to be. And I think I mentioned it in the very first stream at the Nürburgring, is that there's going to be times where through our development of Leukodystrophy and through our life, where I'll promise a stream and I might not be able to do it because we might have something going on at home that takes priority. So I'm certainly not going to over commit myself to promises, because all that does is put extra stress and pressure on an already incredibly demanding lifestyle. I mean, I'd be happy to give up work and do streaming and all that sort of stuff and play video games during the day, but work is a good way to pay the bills and get some time away from the family, out of the house, etc. as well. So keeping that sort of commitment up for as long as I can is incredibly important to me. So the cars are in the 8s with the alternative tyres.
Go right.
I don't think I'll run the boxes. Bolt was just saying in chat he found a good way to get to the pits quickly, and his method was step on the accelerator really quickly. And I'm assuming he had to tow back to the pits. My goal is to not do that this race. I just went on saying I haven't got any goals, but my goal is to not crash. That's my sole goal. Don't crash. Don't crash too often. Vinny's killed punt. And we're chasing down Jamlin here. He was the fastest at one point for a little while there. So you can see the numbers on the left. So I'm number 7, Jamlin's number 5. That means he's faster than me. We've got Mush in 11th behind us. He went off the track just at the end of the straight here before we got around him. force feedback down. I'm having some issues with my shoulder a little bit, like I said, same as last night. Just battling the wheel a little bit. It's a posture thing that I need to work on. At least I'm aware of it early on. Really loosen my grip on the steering wheel, let the force feedback do its thing. I think I smell apple crumble. I think they had apple crumble without me. Now the stream will finish at about 9 PM my time, which means that I get myself apple crumble. Hopefully I get myself apple crumble. Maybe, just maybe, if I crash, I'll get myself apple crumble as well. Shouldn't reward poor behaviour, Travie. If you crash, you don't get apple crumble. How long's left in this practice session? Another 14 minutes, or just under 14 minutes. So it should be another 10 laps, hopefully. And we've got 15 laps of fuel, so we are sweet to go through.
On the right. Go left.
It's coming out of pits. It's Vinny. It's a little bit faster than us. Let's use the aero advantage, and we'll see if we get a tow down the straight.
You got a slow car on the right.
Obviously, the tow down the straight will mean we approach the braking zone a lot faster, which will mean we need to brake a little bit differently. Jake in front of us. Jake is one of the new members of Missed Apex Racing League. I think he's here for the IndyCar series. We are, to the best of my knowledge, going to be running a full IndyCar series in January next year. We are having a lot of fun in this car, and the oval races have been insane. Since I've actually learned how to drive the car, the oval races have been insane. So, hoping that we can do a lot more of that, and I think hopefully we can run over I think it's a full 18-week season, something around that mark. Or it might be a 12-week season.
Slow car on the right. Car stop on the right. Go left.
Whoa.
You got a slow car on the right. Go left.
This is where it gets a bit busy, and this is where during the race I will probably not talk or breathe for... I won't talk or breathe for laps at a time, because you just forget sometimes. It's also nice to have absolutely no vision out of your rear view mirrors in this car. I don't run the virtual mirror or anything like that. I do have the overlay. I think I haven't got the dash overlay on the screen for you guys to see. For some reason that overlay doesn't populate, and when we stop at the end of this before qualifying, I'll jump in, I'll see if I can get that overlay to come up onto OBS for you, so you can see, but I've got obviously the speed, gears, throttle inputs at the top of the screen above that, so you get an idea on what we're doing with pedal inputs, etc. And the obvious thing is driving between these cars in real life, there would be a massive difference in the application of the brake pressure, etc., and how the pedals set up. We use one pedal for every type of car, and it's not adjustable to suit each car type. There are some what they call active pedals out now. Simicube have one that's I think somewhere around the $4,500 mark, and Moser just have released theirs, but there's no pricing on that at this stage.
Go right.
So it'll be interesting to see where the price point of the Moser ones come in. And the reason I bring that up is that it would make it easier to transition from car to car, because the brake pedal will physically feel different. Because it's an active pedal, it's on I would only assume a worm gear motor or something like that. It can give you, at the click of a button, a different brake pressure for a open wheeler car or for a GT car. So I think that'd be a really, really cool feature to have, because then here's my opportunity. So I did say in my stream that I was going to tell you guys that the alternative tyres lasted for about 2 or 3 laps. But because I'm a top bloke, I did 21 laps on them and they were still going strong. So, yeah, good 21 laps at least, mate.
Slow car ahead. You got a slow car on the right.
Brody. Brody's just going into pits, I think. Or no, he's right behind us. Just going to put on the pass here, maybe.
You got a slow car on the right. Go left.
So I did give up on my little joke there, and I told the guys 21 laps. I would rather them know. I prefer a good race. We're not playing for sheep stations. We're not winning world championships. Some guys do take this very, very seriously, and that's fine. I really do respect that as well. But as I said, I'm here. I'd much rather a good, clean race. So everyone knows that the alternative tyres last 21 laps now, at least. What that means is everyone is quite likely to...
Go left.
That was very, very close. What it means is everyone will likely start on the alternative tyres and run all the way through that full tank of fuel and swap to the primary tyres at the end. So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. And as I said, that should then theoretically promote better racing overall. The other option I've got...
You got a slow car on the right.
And again, if anyone from Mr. Apex Racing League is watching right now, the other option I've got is I could start on the alternative tyres, drive the first 5 laps of the race, and then switch to the... Start on the primary tyres, drive the first 5 laps of the race, top up with fuel, and then drive.
You got a slow car on the right. Go left.
Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we won't. That will get me out of traffic, is what that will do. But we are here to race. We are here to race. I've dropped right down the order here, guys. I think they've run on their alternative tyres though. I'm running solely on the primary tyres here. I'm still managing 11s. And let's be completely frank, the race times will be less than that anyway because of battling and fighting for position. The difficult part is going to be, can we get through the race clean? That's my real hope. So I will switch off from time to time in chat and have to concentrate because it's a concrete jungle. I will have to be super aware of all of the cars around me to make sure that I give them the respect they deserve and hopefully they give that back. So ultimately though, I know that none of the guys here will want to crash into me. That's not what they're here for. None of us are here, and we always know that crashes are an accident. So but the main reason, as I said, for that sort of awareness is because I want to make sure that we can try and get through this with the least amount of crashes as possible. So and I'll be happy just running the lap times I'm running. Real key to anything in life, motorsport, going for a jog, whatever hobby you've got, it's consistency. we hit the wall.
Colour's fine. No damage to
I think
report.
that was netcode. I think we were close enough, but I think the netcode thing happened there, where we were probably deemed to have hit the wall anyway.
Slow car ahead.
So we've got 5 minutes to go. And then, as I said, I'll see if I can actually put the dash overlay on the screen for you
Slow
guys.
car ahead.
Hopefully I can.
Car stopped ahead. Go right.
Hopefully I can get it on there, because otherwise what I'll do is I'll put the static steering wheel on there, so although you've got the inputs on there, as I said, so I'll see if I can get the overlay. I'll see if I can get that to work, because I had it working and then it's not working anymore, so just remember we've got push to pass in this.
Left side. Clear on the left.
Oh, give a bit of racing room, see the dirty air there? Whee! Now I warmed up my tyres enough to give me grip issues as well. See if we can get back in this draft. He's pretty rapid, this guy. Got a feeling he might drive open wheelers a bit more than us. Probably have 1 and a bit laps to go. Missed that corner. Got a minute to go, so I'll finish up at the end of this lap and we'll count that as another 21 laps. Because I want to make sure I can get that overlay on the screen for you guys. And then I can turn off the one at the top, because the overlay that I've got runs... you can see on there the throttle and braking inputs as well. It's a horizontal bar. So it's got a little bit more information on it. Oh, old man jumper. I'm going to finish this lap actually. Let's make it 22 laps. Everyone can wait for me, because the session will keep going. If it doesn't, we'll carry it as count it as 21 laps. And 8 minutes of qualifying is plenty. I only need 4.5 minutes to get around. That's another 22 laps. We will only be... Oh, no, we only count that as 21 laps because the session ended. Okie dokie, let's have a quick look. I'm going to do some technological stuff here to see if I can technologically advance the advanced tech. We'll need to get that majig there. Now, I don't know... where it is. So let's see if we can add browser. We'll add the dash browser. Okay, so it's not populating on the screen. Now, I don't exactly know why it's not doing that. So I will, maybe it's because I'm not in the car. What I'll do is I will hit save on that. I'll jump into the car and then I'll check OBS again, and it's definitely not there. So let me see if I can fix that for you by doing the static steering wheel. Let's have a look at the static steering wheel and see what that looks like on the screen for you guys. Qualify, and we'll go to OBS. No, so you can only see the shift lights on there. I mean, it's a bit more info for you, but I need to fix the whole scenario with the overlay that I've got. So I do have an overlay on my screen. I do have that there. So leave that with me. I'll endeavour to fix that over the next couple of weeks. We added 21 laps in that session, so we need to keep a tally. We'll test my actual counting. But for now, oh, we're on the wrong tyres for quali though. We are going to swap to the alternative, and we'll run the 8-lap sprint in the alternative tyres. Now, I also don't know how loud the car is. I'm hoping the actual volume between the car and my voice is satisfactory. I will just check on that. I actually just asked my wife if she can check the sound volume for me. I'm thinking it's going to be about right, because I think for the GT4 I have to adjust it up, and for the louder cars like this I have to adjust it down a little bit. So we'll find out in a second, and I will make that adjustment before the race if I need to. I've got an idea on the slider where I need to put it to get the maximum out of that value. Maximum volume, not value. These alternative tyres are certainly a lot more grippy. They certainly feel instantly better when they're cold. That's second gear.
Green, green, green.
And there's no push to pass in the practice, in the qualifying.
Okay, here comes your first
So this is
time
done
lap.
purely on driver skill alone. So let's see how much skill this driver has. 2 laps here at Long Beach. Whoops, we spun it. So this lap will be invalid. I know a couple of guys don't normally qualify, and to be honest, I'm actually not too worried if I have to sit at the back of the field. What I do know is it's going to be nearly impossible to pass at this track without a couple of handfuls of courage under the brakes. Alright, so we'll go for one more flying lap. That'll be so the out lap will count as 1 lap, because that'll be the finish of the lap we didn't finish last time, so that'll be 3 laps in this session. So that'll be 24 laps for today. Let's do this quietly. Nope. That's invalidated that lap as well. What I'll do, can I
Got wheel damage.
go back to the... I think I can go back to the pits. Because I'm... No, this will be my out lap because I crossed the start line. So we will count 1 lap from 2 laps, because I did 1 4 lap in the hour lap, so we'll count that as 2 laps. However, this would be... Let's go have a look. Got a black flag. I want to see if I can put a qualifying lap in. I'd love to see if I can. How long have I got? 2 minutes. Oh, it's going to be tight. I don't think I'll actually get around the track. 1:30. No, I won't be able to finish my lap. So we will wear that as invalid laps. I think we'll just park that up. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with not qualifying. We still did 2 laps, but you saw those couple of errors creep in there. I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. Bear with me 2 seconds. All right, it's time to grid up. That was perfect timing.
One to go. Next time by. Line up on the right side. We've put in plenty of fuel to finish the race. Closed. Pit road is closed. The estimated SOF is 1,400.
We're starting in 10th.
Keep it clean. The DNF today would hurt our points a lot.
Now this is going to be an 8-lap sprint race. We're starting P10 because I may have not been the greatest at qualifying. Track maps on there. Why is the dash overlay not working? We need to figure out the dash overlay, guys. Turn my car on at least. Alright, so we have Jay to our left. Jakey, mate, Jet, old man Jumbo. Have fun, gentlemen. This is it should be a good race, I hope. It's going to be fun. I do have rocks in my head, mate. Don't you worry. I'm fully aware of that. Yeah, Jet.
Everyone's gridded.
I did hand on heart. I did 21 laps, and my lap times were all in the 10s and 11s. So yeah, you'll be fine with them. So one of the guys was just saying they were slower on the soft after 4 laps. I comfortably do 21 fairly consistent laps, I believe. So. And it'll be single file in the hairpin.
About to go green, stay focused. Post car is off, time to do your job. Green, green, green.
Alright, so we're going to concentrate a little bit here, guys. Get through this first lap. Expecting this to be a fairly quiet 8 laps for me. We've done 23 laps for Leuko plus the 21s. We've done 44 laps.
There's an incident ahead.
Somebody is dead on the left there. Oh, old man Jumbo. Unlucky. Good if you can get to the start line. So as I mentioned earlier in the stream, the boys were giving me a bit of rev up there about how good these are in ovals. As I said, I have to not overdrive. I've got to be mindful of Jakey mate in front of us here. Got Jay behind us, who's a very good mate of ours.
Right side. Clear.
Oh. There we go. Alright, so that's cleared the traffic. We didn't hit anyone, but now we've got the challenge of catching up to people now. We lost all those spots we worked hard for, and that was just purely because I was offline. It was what I was talking about. You've got to have the confidence to drive these cars offline, and I spent every lap in practice just practicing the racing line, not braking in those difficult spots. So there's a bit of a lesson to myself for the next race. We do need to try and claw back some of these positions. Otherwise we'll be starting P11 for the next race. Let's see how we go. There's a yellow flag up here somewhere. I think that was Dark Lord by the sound of it. So that spin I had last lap was exactly where I spun in the...
You got a slow car on the left. There's an incident ahead.
Mush has hit the wall, I think. His front wheel looks to be on a bit of an angle.
Go right. The car in C1.
He did unfortunately hit the wall.
The fastest lap. 8.443.
They're doing 8s, and as Punt has a crash unfortunately. There's a concrete jungle and it's not very forgiving at all.
car behind is pitting.
Not how we like to gain positions, but unfortunately, we've got to get through clean. And had I not had that spin, we were really only going to be 2 positions up from where we are now anyway, so... Good thing is I didn't hit anyone. That's the most important thing, is not taking anyone else out when we have those moments. Very impressed with the guys up the front are doing 8s though. Very, very impressed. I didn't have an 8 in me, I don't think. That's purely down to driving style, but their 8s, the lap times aren't up there. Their 8s are...
the car in front is pitting. That was your fastest.
Oh no, somebody else is pitting. The 8s are, yeah, a good 2 seconds a lap faster than us, so 2 seconds is a substantial amount of time around a 3 kilometre course. But I'm happy not to be the fastest. It's always something I've maintained. I don't want to be, I don't have aspirations to be the fastest. I want to be able to race, and unfortunately today is another solo session. Yellow flag. I think that was Jamlin who was behind us before, unfortunately. Did get the pleasure of meeting Jay when we went over to Victoria. He's a very good bloke. We've had quite a few chats and good laughs throughout the league, from the Xbox days and into the PC.
On the car in front. The gap is 4.2 seconds.
Jay going to pits? No. So he doesn't have damage. I think he must have just had a spin. What I did was I waited too long when I had a spin, but I did see the gap between the 2 cars, so I lost a bit of extra time there, but it was the right thing to do to make sure that Punt was not approaching me too much, because the last thing I want to do is take him out of the race as well. I've done that a few times with the poor bloke, and those 8s are pretty impressive times, boys. These open wheelers are definitely different to drive to what I'm used to. Ran into another car.
2 laps to go.
Sam's had a moment.
The leader is running 9.582. Car stops on the right. Car stops on the left. Go right. There's an incident ahead.
There's Jet, I think it was. Poor fella. Oh, he's ripped his front end off. And Sam's. We just gained 2 positions there through a bit of misfortune. Managed to keep the same gap to Jamlin in front of us. See if we can chase him down over the next 2 laps. Jamlin is quite a good driver these days. He's very, very consistent, and he's always great fun to be around on track. So he loves a good race, and trying to encourage him to get into some of the endurance racing with us, because we're a bad influence. As we use some of the push to passes we have.
White flag this time.
Wow, that was a bit of a burnout. That wasn't intentional, but it was a good way to launch, and we hit the push to pass button as we jumped on the throttle there. Be 1 lap, little buddy. Be about a minute and a half, right? He's got little Mitchell. I think he's ready to call it night. He's got a pretty big week ahead of him. Going to send him to the Port Adelaide final on Thursday night. pretty excited about it. He's become a Port Adelaide fan. He's made the switch from Richmond. So we've been to a couple of footy games this season, which has been really cool. It's nice to get out and watch that sort of stuff and see him have a bit of fun. So Port Adelaide are playing a home final on Thursday night. We'll leave me and Hot Wheels himself at home to do a bit of sim racing. But he's also got a touch footy carnival at school. Well, he did chase down a couple of seconds there, but he's got a touch footy carnival at school the same day as well, so it's going to be a pretty big day for the young fella.
There's the flag. It's over.
That was another 9 laps because we had the out lap there as well. So I will I'll just jump out of the rig for a second and be back. We've got a 15-minute feature here. So we did 23 laps plus 9, so 32 laps so far. But I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we're back on board. So we are 30. How many laps did I say? We did 23 plus 9. So we're 32 laps into this now. We'll go and run a another few minutes in the car. We go through Jamlin. So this is a 15-minute warm-up, so we've only got 12 minutes of that left. The graphics around here are pretty amazing. Whoop, oh no. That's not going to help our cause. Alright, let's get back that way. Warmed up the tyres there. So that little flinch you saw in the steering wheel was the reaction to the hot tyres from sliding. The tyres seem to superheat very, very quickly. I mean, by no means I'm an expert in how open wheels react on the road, but I don't think in real life the tyres would heat that quickly. Maybe they would. They'll be hot now, so we have to be super mindful through this part of the track. Just got a hot tip from our secret spy. The next race is a 30-lap sprint. So in both the practice sessions I did at the start of this stream, we only managed to do 21 laps, so we've got to get through quite a few more laps than then that are done. Quite a few more laps, so an extra 9. That'll bring us up to the 62 lap mark. 62 laps is a good number to finish on. 62 times 3 is 180 kilometres. So it'll be a small game, but it is a small track, and there's quite a few more laps to add to the tally. That should take us over the 200 laps in 3 days. And 180 kilometres will get us close to the 1500 kilometre mark. No, it won't. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. We'll do more than that actually, because we're going to do some laps here. Oh, checkered flag ready.
Car stops on the right.
It said 15 minutes on my screen. Huh. A minute. All right, so we only got 2 laps in there because it was a 5 minute, not 15. All right, well, that escalated quickly. So we're straight into a 30 lap race. We are going to start on the alternative tyres. See how we go. It's I'm gonna move that glass before I forget about it. Oh, what? Hang on, that counter, I had like 10 seconds left on my counter, and then it said I had to start in pits. Yeah, it said mine said 10 seconds to go. I was waiting to click it and said you missed the start. Okay, so we're starting from the pits. That was really, really interesting. So we are going to be going in a second. Yeah, so mine had 10 seconds. Did yours say 10 seconds to go before it put you in the pits as well, Michael?
The pace car is off. Be ready.
That's so weird, eh? I've never had that before.
You need to change to a new tyre compound during the race, or else we'll be disqualified. You'll have to stop for more fuel before the race is
Guys
over.
in pits can go. Go, guys in pits.
The estimated strength of fuel is 1,400.
Yeah, just make sure your limit is on, guys. So we've got 2 little races here. Half the field is starting from pit lane and half it's on the grid. We had a bit of a glitch there, but that's what makes racing fun. It's still a 30 lap race. And we are behind Lord Volt, the Master of Ovals, and not the Master of Ovals, the Master of Long Beach. So he can give us the aerodynamic advantage around the track. Now, what tyres are they on? They're on green tyres as well, so we've done the right thing. So we got 2 laps in that. 2 laps in there. So 34 laps plus 30, so we'll do 64 laps. We're hoping to do a little bit more, but that's okay. The yellow flag. Oh no.
On the left.
Don't know who's had a bit of an issue there. Now I do have to remember that you can actually turn the steering wheel a bit more than you think you can, so that was a rookie error if I've ever seen one. I've been sort of rolling around that corner. I've got to cross my arms over and actually get around that. See the speed difference between Volt and myself in front there. He's pulled out 2 seconds.
Car stopped ahead. Car stopped ahead.
There's been a bit of a crash there.
Go right. Go left.
Bad luck. A couple of boys had a moment there. We've somehow made our way up into P7. Redeemed ourselves through... I don't even know if we call that. We're not going to call that redeemed ourselves. I'm not going to claim that as any position taking really. It was all just through unfortunate attrition of incidents there. We are driving on our own, which is good for my Laps for Leuko project. Because the risk of me doing something stupid is greatly reduced by the lack of pressure from other drivers around me. I do have to update the tyres on my...
Got it, slow car on the right.
Change those to the primary.
You fast flat for you. The car in C5.
Yellow flag.
10.177. Car stopped on the right.
Don't see anyone stopped on the right, so we'll assume that that's been cleared. It might have been up the escape road or coming out of pits or who knows what. We gained another position somewhere in that mix. I think going down this first there is something I've tried for a couple of laps. I don't know if it's the right thing to do or not. Sort of feel a bit better getting on the throttle, rolling through there, knowing I'm in first, rather than having the extra torque of being in second gear.
The car in C5. Just set the fastest lap. 9.5.
P5 is our Mr. Lord Bolt in front of us there. He's certainly a big fan of this track. The more I drive it, the less I dislike it. I don't hate the track. I recognise that it's just a complicated track and it's a very, very unforgiving track. We drove in the first lot of videos I did before I removed them from iRacing. We did a race at Chicago street course in the Cadillac CSV race car, and it was a wild race. Like those guys in front of me, we were battling for the whole of the two 25-minute races. It was so much fun because of the fact that there's a lot of risk. You have to drive accordingly to the fact there's concrete walls, and you know when you hit them, it is going to cause damage. And then we did what's the other road course in America in this particular car for the last race of the season just before this one. So it was a 6-week season, and that was wild as well. What track was that? No, Lord Bolt and I did a 6-hour race there, and it was quite an intense race. We had rain there as well. I can't remember the name of the track now. It'll come to me. But it was one of those ones where I was very, very skeptical, much like the first time I drove Long Beach. Very, very skeptical about driving that track. But you just learn it. Happy to be a little bit off pace, like I am here. What about 2 seconds off pace? They're doing 8s again. However, touch wood, we're keeping it pretty. How good is that, guys?
Car stopped on the right. You've got wheel damage. You're gaining on the car in front.
How good is that?
3.2 seconds. Car stopped on the right. Your car has too much damage. We've got to fix it.
So we've got to meet more.
Is damaged. The car behind is
that's going to make a good good YouTube short.
You got a slow car on the right. That car is a lap down.
So what we'll do now is we will box early for fuel and tyre change. That couldn't have happened at a better time, could it really? That's always the way. You start talking about being smooth and having fun, and then you go and do something really silly such as that little stunt. The car's going really well considering it's got wheel damage and no front wing. It's really, really handling quite well. So we are going to add fuel, we are changing primary tyres, and we are going to have enough in the primaries to get us through to the finish line. So it'll be a 22 lap sprint to the finish on primary tyres rather than my strategy of running I was really worried then I didn't have my pit limiter on. Let's see if this accepts my tyre change.
Pit box in 10, 5.
Please put white tyres
3,
on.
2, 1. Right here. We're done. Get going.
No, we're not. We're changing tyres, Jeff. May as well do one stop.
That's it. Go.
Alright, 7 seconds. So the damage, that's alright. It's not the end of the world. We're going to come out all right on Dark Lord in pits here. This is going to be very, very tight. 3 seconds. Come out in front of Dark Lord there on, he's got warm tyres. We had no choice. I was going to be plenty clear. Sorry about that, Dark Lord. I was sliding out of pit lane there. We had our 6th position.
The car in front is pitting.
Now we've got enough 22 laps. Oh, 22.9 laps. So let's adjust that fuel map to map 3. Oh my.
The leader is coming up on you. They're not our fight.
I was distracted. I was changing settings in the car. Alright, we've lost concentration. You've seen me at my best, you've seen me at my worst now. I shouldn't have been trying to adjust that. I really shouldn't have been trying, but what do you do?
We can switch tyre compounds. Road control is happy.
Alright. Let's focus on getting through 21 laps. It's going to be very, very tight for us on fuel. Very, very tight. be rolling into corners a little bit more. And we are a lap down, so it means we only have to do 20 laps. But Sam in front has to pit, and he was, yeah, so he might still lap us again anyway. We can only hope. It might give me that little bit of leeway I need.
On the left. Go right.
There's a Jet.
Go left.
He's had a bit of a bingle against. That will put us back into 7th. We're chasing down in 6th now. No, put us back into 5th. 6th, there you go. So that's okay. So we're chasing Dark Lord again. That was a bit of a comedy of errors from us there for a couple of laps. We might, although we finished first race down the order, didn't we? So we're not going to have a very good result in the championships for this race. A couple of boys are getting 40-second stop and hold penalties. I'm trying to get back to focusing on my throttle inputs after a cloudy couple of moments there, but we are going to have a pretty good YouTube short out of that one. That's the stuff like my IndyCar video at the start. If you have a look at the very first short I've posted on YouTube, I think it's called "This Video Will Never Get Old." It's a pretty special moment. I've got to admit, very, very special moment. Jet's holding in pits.
20 more laps.
Sweet, 20 more laps. We've got 20.7 left. So anyone from Mile watching, pick up the pace, and I will run out of fuel. Slow down the pace, and I'll be right. What we have to keep an eye on is that point of a lap as we cross the line. Is that going to keep us at a good number? Let's hope so. The chat is very, very quiet. A lot of guys concentrating. I don't know what the battle's like up ahead of us. I'm not going to flick through the relative and see what's going on. As you saw before, the last thing I need to do is miss a braking marker and get another meatball. We do want to try and redeem ourselves and put in a bit of a race. Blue flags from Mr. Lord Volt behind us.
10.204.
The guys in the lead are doing 10s. So with open wheelers, the rule is you get out of the way of the faster cars. They're not our race, so we get out of their way. Lord Bolt, after starting from the pits, has managed to claw his way back up to 2nd place. I'm in 6th, a lap down, so a bit of work to do, but you never know your luck in a big city, eh? We are in Long Beach, which looks to be, by all accounts, a fairly big city. So we'll see what our luck is like. Thanks, buddy.
That car is a lap down.
So there's P5, Dark Lord. We're chasing down. He's 11 seconds ahead. I didn't look at the laps left as we went across the line, so judging by the fact that we're still at 9.5, I think we'll be good for fuel. Good thing is it's not a timed race, so there's no risk of the extra lap. It is just going to be a 30-lap race. We will unlap ourselves on the leaders when they come into pits. They're only 9 seconds ahead. But I'm going to try and chase down Dark Lord in P5. See how we go. Zero X contact, netcode on that wall. So Volt's gone into pits to do his, what's just under halfway. Stop. And I set my fastest lap on the alternative tyres. Well done, Travie. On the primary tyres even. Yeah, it was the slide before that put me into the wall that was the one I was worried about. If you don't ease on it just right through those bumps, it kicks it out, doesn't it? Dark Lord pulled out a second on us there. It's a tense battle here, chasing down 5th. How long have we got? We've got 15 laps, halfway, 17 laps of fuel. We're good for fuel, guys. I don't know what you're worried about. We're good for fuel. 15 laps, we've got 17 to go. We're basically making trees. Basically saving the world by driving an IndyCar here. We'll be able to put some fuel back into the fossil fuel reserves. I'm going to come unstuck on that corner. Jamla behind us complimented me on the slide that I did out of their last lap. So almost hit that tyre bundle. That's one you've got to be super careful of as well, especially in tin tops as they roll around there.
The lead is pitting now.
If you stay there long enough, Jay, you'll see my fun turn to pain. And a couple of boys just said these white tyres aren't fun, and Jay said, looks like Trav's having a bit of fun. But we all know that fun leads to what happened a few minutes ago, where I compliment myself on my driving style and then put it in the wall anyway. So this episode is a little bit different. We haven't really spoken about anything, but if you are with us and you...
No damage to Charlotte's claim.
Netcode. Sweet. That wasn't netcode. I can categorically tell you that was not netcode. I hit that wall just about as hard as you think I did. Maybe it was netcode. I'll have a look at that actually. Lap 16. So as I was saying, it is a bit of a different stream, and just, like I said, a different car to drive that breaks up me in the Aston Martin, and also breaks up me talking to you about topics that I'm learning about as we go along and stuff as well. So
that car is a lap down.
if you are watching still and you are in a position where you can help Racing for James, help Leukodystrophy Australia. We are here to support a charity, so Leukodystrophy Australia we spoke about yesterday. They're an organisation dedicated to... Thanks, pun. Cheers, buddy. They are dedicated to advocating and supporting... much like I told Jay, if you wait there long enough, mate, you'll probably get to see you in the stream again. Oh, no, because I'll do something stupid, don't you worry. I was just saying, so Leukodystrophy Australia, they are a family advocacy group for families, children, adults even living with leukodystrophy, and they are who we are here and while we're online every day in September to support. So if you do manage to have a few dollars that you could spare to help our cause, we would be ever so grateful if you're in a position to make a donation. The donation link is in the description below. From the top of my head, and I promise every episode that I'm going to learn this this donation link. It is leuko.org.au/support us /donate now. And like I said, every Australian dollar, every donation over $2 is tax deductible. For Australian residents, obviously. I don't know how it works with international donors if you feel like assisting from the other side of the world. But Australians will receive a tax-deductible donation, and every dollar does go towards supporting children and families and adults. Like I said, not just children. I keep saying children, but our kids are teenagers. They're young adults now, and there are a lot of families that need the support of those dollars. So we don't take anything from those donations. We are of course aligned with Leukodystrophy Australia as a family affected by leukodystrophy. But these donations are completely for the organisation to determine. We don't get any say in how any of that's spent or where any of that money goes. It's yes, mate. Oh, really? So on my screen, I'm still inside the line. If you go on it, I think it goes over. Yeah, that might be netcode. I believe, mate. Yeah, so on my screen I'm definitely inside it because I'm aware of I've learnt that lesson. But yeah, it might be just the positioning of my car on your screen, I think. Yeah, so Leukodystrophy Australia, like I said, they are amazing at what they do, and the dollars they raise through their golfing days, through their other charity avenues, they do not receive any government assistance. The whole community is run by volunteers, by donations. So that's why it's important for us to do this work. As a family, we want to try and help give back to the community, and we want to try and get involved in the community a little bit as well as along the way. So we've got a lot to look forward to. Now, what we were talking about with Javelin before, there's an off track just here. If you go over that yellow line on the right hand side of the screen, I actually don't know if you can see it, but it is the pit exit, and it does give you a slowdown. And what Javelin was saying is that on his screen it looks like I'm actually over that line, but on my screen I'm definitely not, which I think is just the positioning of the cars through netcode. Somebody's got a front bumper on the road there. Now, currently debris does not leave any impact damage to cars, but I'm assuming some pretty sophisticated updates from iRacing, I reckon they'll find a way to make that happen.
The car in front is pitting.
But to do that, they will also need to then make flat spots on tyres.
20 minutes to go.
They'll need to make flat spots on tyres and all that sort of stuff, I think, as well. So I'm thinking it's going to be a lot of fun when they do implement flat spots and when they do implement all that sort of stuff, but it will create a lot more risk out on track and a lot more need to drive the cars super carefully. So we've got Javelin sitting 3 seconds behind us, so we can't drop him away, so I think we're doing pretty consistent lap times with each other. And we've got Dark Lord who's hovering in that 10-second mark, so he's quite the driver at times too, so I don't think we'll catch Dark Lord unless he comes unstuck, but we have moved up to 5th position with Vinny having a bit of a moment and ending up in pits there from what I understand. Got a bit unlucky with our well, sorry, I'd say unlucky. We got lucky with our meatball there as well. We had wheel damage, but it must have just been enough to cause the meatball, because you don't get a meatball for aerodynamic damage anymore. You only get it for mechanical damage. So the mechanical damage was the wheel damage we sustained, but we were able to do an extra lap and make the most of that. In real life, it's not that lucky.
The car behind you.
I would have been out of the race with that sort of damage, unfortunately. The silly error like that. We've got the Quiet Achiever Old Man Jumbo up in 3rd place there as well, holding on a steady 20-second gap. So he must be sitting very, very similar to lap times as well, which I'm happy with in the league, because when we do race together, a lot of us are very, very, very similar in skill level. So we tend to be able to battle, if we can keep it clean, we tend to be able to battle and race fairly well. As you can see, we're maintaining the gaps between us all. So it does mean that if we're close together, we can match each other's pace and make the racing good. And that's what you ultimately want in a league as well. The field has spread out now because of carnage and pit stops and all that fun stuff at the start of the race, but we'll just pretend that was a penalty for, what can we call that a penalty for? We had to change a gearbox or something. We had to start from the back of the pack. We'll go with that. The racing stewards decided that half the field needed to start from pits because it makes it fun and interesting, and it did actually help on the start. It probably reduced a bit of chaos at the start there as well, so it's not all bad news. How many of those have I got left?
The car in
Oh,
P3
man.
just set the fastest lap. 9.524.
So we've lost our front wing there.
Your front wing is damaged.
Got to stop getting distracted. Stop it. Stop it, Trav. Stop it. You're in 5th place. You're chasing down Dark Lord. Stop looking at shiny things. It happens every single time.
Backslide.
So we're very, very quickly learning that
9.833.
the distraction is what's getting me and costing me in these races. You saw me in practice where I just run lap after lap after lap. Didn't worry about what was happening. Didn't worry about any of the other rubbish on the screen. Bring me to the... Oh no, there's Dark Lord.
You're gaining on the car in front. The gap is 4.7 seconds. You got it. Slow car on the right.
Dark Lord had a moment, so... Bad luck, Dark Lord. I was watching that gap sort of yo-yo back and forth, mate. That was good fun.
The car behind you is pitting. You're in 4th position.
Five laps to go. 5 laps to go. So 34 plus 30, 64 laps. 3 kilometers per lap. So 180, 192 kilometers, I think we'll call that. 192 kilometers to add to the tally. We already added the 21 from the practice session, so we'll bring that tally up, and we'll see if we do another 2.5 hour session at oh wow,
Your front wing is damaged. You've got damage on the right side. 5 laps to go.
5 laps to go.
It's going well. Keep at it.
So we're up into 4th place. We're not going to catch Jumbo unless he has an incident as well, especially seeing as we've got damage now. But I was saying, yes, I might try and add another 100 or so laps of Charlotte Roval. Probably on Thursday night I might consider doing that. I mean, I have actually worked out that I can do all of my weekly streams at 7 PM my time, so 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. So if I do that at 7, it means that the league races start at 7, and it means the other nights that I was offsetting it with could work as well. To the best of my knowledge, that could be the best plan I've had all day. It won't work tomorrow because I actually have Pilates after work. So tomorrow will be a 7:30 start, like I had on Monday. But moving into the following weeks, I might actually change that over to a different night of the week, so I can do it a little bit earlier, and then I can actually stream at a consistent time for the whole month as well. So Monday to Friday will be 7 PM starts. That's my plan. So we'll keep an eye out for that. I will be back on at 7:30 tomorrow night, 7:30 Australian Central Standard Time, for another 2.5 hours. So that'll be. I'm in two minds. I really don't know whether to drive a Charlotte Roval again or the V8 Supercar. I don't know if I'll be able to drive 2.5 hours of the Supercar at Mount Panorama. But we can certainly give that a red hot go, or we can try and tap into some of the week 13 racing. So I'll have a bit of a look at what's on the schedule, and I will try and work out if we're going to pick a topic to talk about tomorrow as well, or whether we save that for Thursday night. Bearing in mind Thursday night, as I mentioned before, little Mitchell will be heading to the footy, so it will just be me and Hot Wheels, which might give me an opportunity to get that little young fella's face in the sim, and introduce you guys, and hopefully we can make an over race or something line up. I might even pre-record a bit of content with him just to test it and see how he feels.
Go left, Jumbo. Go left. I'm pulling over.
Driving
Cheers,
something a little bit different.
2 more, let's go.
So Lord Vault has actually ended up in the lead. He's gone the undercut strategy, and he's done well. He's done very, very well. He's the master of this track. He really is. There's no doubt he's good at this track. He's leading the IndyCar Championship at the moment, so he's got himself dialed in this sim. He's really got himself dialed in. It's really good to see. He's been on iRacing. He was one of the guys from Marl that joined iRacing first, and I'd spend it kind of sounds really sad, but I'd actually spend a Saturday night watching him race on YouTube or Twitch. He would stream his 3-hour at the time VRS endurance races. I'd sit down and watch those after the kids go to bed. So he very quickly encouraged me to purchase iRacing and a PC and get into it myself, because the endurance racing is ultimately what I'm on iRacing for. And there is a hell of a lot of variety on iRacing as opposed to Assetto Corsa that we were playing. Assetto Corsa Competizione. That's only GT3, GT4 cars. Whereas, as you can see, we're driving an IndyCar at the moment, and then tomorrow I could be driving a NASCAR, and then next day I could be driving a rallycross car. It's really good in that respect. So we are approaching the last lap. So this time around we'll get the white flag. I do want to thank everyone for watching again. So how long have we been on? We're only at the did it again.
White flag, stay smooth.
So we're going to finish now. 1 lap short. Well done, Travie. We're not going to get that extra lap because I just come off. I was distracted by looking at the time. Again, distraction. So guys, call me out on it. Every time you see me look away from the screen, call me out on it. So we've done ourselves a lap short there. We'll do an in-lap to make up for it. We'll do an in-lap. Full in-lap.
Checkered flag, checkered flag. Good job. Very good job.
That was a little bit frustrating on my part. It was. I did say at the start, and I did say to Lord Bolt today, that this could go one of two ways tonight. I didn't overdrive the car. I'm very happy with that tonight. I'm very happy with not overdriving the car. I'm very happy with how I handled myself on track today. But the distractions got me. Looking at my black box, looking at my clock to see how long the stream was. That's the stuff that got me, and that's just silly. Very, very silly mistakes. So I need to really iron that out, and it does show me maybe that I can drive other cars, and maybe it is just purely distraction. Maybe it's purely distraction. But guys, we'll jump into the pit lane here, and I thank you for watching another stream. If you did manage to tune in for Racing with James, like I said, it's a privilege to have you guys here on YouTube as well. We will be back again tomorrow. So tomorrow being Wednesday Australian time at 7:30 Australian Central Standard Time.
3, 2, 1.
I will I'll choose what to drive and have a bit of a go at it during the week. But at the moment we're going to be adding 64 laps to our laps to Leuko total. So let me bring up our OBS program here. We'll have a bit of a look at that. So we've got 64 laps. So let me update this first. So we've got 64 years, 219. So we went 64 times 3.06. So we've done another 195 kilometers. We're going to add that to the total 0.09. So we've now done 1,436 kilometers. So we'll edit that now live on the stream, 1436.93. So tomorrow we will actually be able to cross the 1,500 kilometer mark. I don't know where we'll drive and how many laps we'll look to add, but we'll figure that out tomorrow. And like I said, even if we just have a chat for a couple of hours, that's the main purpose of this stream, and we'll find a little bit of something to talk about to keep things interesting for you guys. But as I said, thank you so much for tuning into Racing for James. If you do like what we're doing and you want to support us through our project and our fundamental cause of Leukodystrophy Australia, the donation link is in the description below. Like I said, we would greatly appreciate every dollar going to them. It helps out a lot of families. So thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you watching, and sorry for the silly little distracted mistakes there, but it was a good learning experience to know what we can get away with in the IndyCar. I will see you guys tomorrow night. We'll look at my face. We'll wear a different T-shirt. We'll drive a different car and drive at a different track. Have a lovely day, everyone, and we'll chat very, very, very soon. Thanks.